Hi, I am Magnus, and today I would like to talk about depression. I think it will be a long one, but I hope to make it as concise as possible. First of all, what is the difference between sadness and depression? Depression, unlike sadness, is a mood disorder that causes persistent feelings of sadness and loss of interest. It can be caused by multiple reasons, like physical, because of chemical imbalances in your brains, or emotional trauma, like loss, violence, abuse, among other factors. Sadness, on the other hand, is a moment of loss or emotional distress. In simple words, depression is 10 times the feeling of sadness plus many biological affections. Unlike sadness, depression can't really be cured just with time, and it can lead to other mental illnesses like anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, as well as more physical illnesses like gastritis, diarrhea, insomnia, etc. Anyone can suffer it, and it doesn't represent in any way your capacities, abilities, or strength. Depression knows no gender orientation, or economic status, or age. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, 15.7 million adults suffer with depression just in US alone. Unfortunately, it affects the LGBT plus community in a higher rate. It can lead especially to our youth into drugs, alcoholism, abuse, and other risk behaviors, including suicide. According to the CDC, suicide is the third leading cause of death among young people between 10 to 24 years old in the US, and our youth is twice as likely to attempt suicide, more than heterosexual cisgender youth. Having said that, it is of great importance to recognize the symptoms in yourself and in others around you. Some of them can be trouble concentrating, remembering details, making decisions, feelings of guilt, worthlessness, and helplessness, pessimism, hopelessness, like I said, insomnia, unable to stay asleep, or sleeping too much. It can also cause fatigue, irritability, anger, restlessness, loss of interest in activities, including sex. It can also cause overeating or loss of appetite, aches, pains, headaches, cramps, digestive problems, like I mentioned, that don't improve, like gastritis, acid reflux, diarrhea, etc. Also, persistent sad, anxious, or empty feelings, suicidal thoughts, or attempts of suicide. Excessive movement as well, like pacing, fidgeting, hand wringing, the pressing of the hands or fingers, and an inability to sit still. Or it can cause the opposite of that, such as slowed speech, slow thinking, and slow body movements. The symptoms can vary not only on how many of them you have, but also how they present themselves to you and to others. As a clear example, I will say that last year I spent 5 months crying myself to sleep, and it was only until I spoke about it that someone knew about it. Because I know how to cry silently, and I don't act sad afterwards or before. But my mom knows something is wrong, and if she asks if I have drawn something, and I tell her no. Because drawing is my passion, and depression hits me hard on it. Having said that, there's a list of warning signs to look out for. A sudden and inexplicable switch from sadness to extreme calmness or happiness. You seem happy. Constantly talking about death, feeling trapped in unbearable pain, or being a burden to others. Commenting or thinking about going to sleep and not wake up again. Taking risks such as reckless driving, alcoholism, drug abuse, sexual promiscuity. Risks that you don't normally take, that you wouldn't do because you don't believe in such behaviors, because you truly in your core normally wouldn't do it because of beliefs and that kind of thoughts, right? Making comments about being hopeless, helpless, or worthless. Putting affairs in order, like tying up loose ends, changing your will, giving away personal items, those kind of things, like finishing up stuff. Saying things like, it will be better if I wasn't here, or I went out. Talking about suicide in general. Also, sudden and significant loss of weight. Marks or signs of self-harm. Avoidance of social events, social media, and family and friends, or work, and caring for their body or your body, like not showering, not changing your clothes, or other usual activities of personal cleanliness. In general, most of the symptoms are breaking down from the norm. What you normally do, you stop doing it, and you start doing things that you wouldn't normally do, and they like vary, like there's a difference so big between what you were doing before, that what you're not doing or you're doing now. If you feel any or one or more of these symptoms, talk to someone. It can be a friend, family, it can be a doctor. There's many other organizations and blogs that can help you out if you have these thoughts, feelings, or actions, or if you're seeing someone or hearing of someone having those thoughts or feelings. Depression might not have a cure, but just with time. But you can fight it. You can do something about it, and you are never alone. There's always someone. On the description below, I will leave a list of numbers and pages you can use for assistance. You can also contact your local emergency or suicide hotline. There's also, like I said, many social pages in the community where you can find solace and assistance. There's communities in Instagram and Facebook and WhatsApp and many others that you can search for. There's many type of groups that suffer with depression, people that suffer with chronic illness that can cause depression, people that are transgender. If you're transgender non-binary, there's groups. If you are transgender female or transgender male, or if you define yourself within a sexual orientation, you can also find groups on that, or you can find general LGBT groups that can also help a lot. There's not much that I myself can say, really, but I feel as someone that has suffered with depression since I was 12, or maybe younger even, and has attempted indeed suicide multiple times, I think I can say it's hard, it's painful, and it's definitely not your fault. Your brain is playing against you. It makes you feel and see and think and hear things that are not exactly real. It increases tenfold the pain you suffer till the point you believe there's no way out. But there is. Believe me, there is. I know in a crisis, when you feel like your throat's burning and you can't breathe, it's difficult to believe that there is a way out beyond suicide or harming yourself. But like I myself, like many others, we are proof that it's possible and it does get better. One thing that I have always noticed is that depression is like having goggles, like having a VR headset. It's distorting your reality so that you start isolating yourself, because you can say, I don't have anyone, I'm alone, everyone hates me, or nobody cares about me. But if you really sat down and thought about it, you will find at least one person. There's always just at least one person that actually cares. It's just that your mind, again, is playing against you and makes you believe that there's nobody. But there is. It's just chemicals. It's chemicals. So it's nothing with your strength or with your orientation or your gender identity. It doesn't have to do with that. It's just chemicals in your brain that are not working properly and are making you believe that something is wrong, or that it's increasing the feelings that you are having that have been caused from something else, like trauma or chronic illness, among others. Now, mind you, it doesn't get easier quickly. It's not like magic. Sorry. It requires persistency, but it happens. I hope this video is helpful. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment below. If you have links to other websites or numbers, you can also add them. If you have tips or recommendations, you can also add them as well. I will be uploading soon another video on some tips and recommendations. I hope this is helpful, and I'll be seeing you all around. See ya.